r/AskReddit by Reddify. Men of Reddit. What are some telltale signs that a woman is creepy? When she starts taking offense to doing anything without her involved. Had one girlfriend who insisted that she be with me for any outing. Watching movies with friends. Having dinner and drinks with the guys. She always found a way to come along. When I asked why she was so insistent on going everywhere with me, she said she wanted to make sure I wasn't talking to any other girls. And shortly after told me to cut off contact with every girl I regularly talked to, which really just signaled a huge jealousy/insecurity problem. I told her I wasn't going to do that, and to be assured that I chose her to be in a relationship with. If I wanted anyone else I would not have signed up to be with her. That didn't stop her though. One day I went out to have BBQ with the guys without her, and noticed on the way there and on the way home a car was following me. It was her making sure there weren't any girls I was talking to. I broke it off with her after that. After a few days of her sending a constant bombardment of angry texts, she finally left me alone. You dodged a bullet, possibly a real bullet. Fucking laser sights. A really big fucking hole coming right up. Your phone is ringing. Let me get that for you. Number gunfire. This girl I met on Tinder had me take her out to a restaurant and then switched tables with her friend. They had been on blind dates and decided to switch. Her friend was not as attractive and I was very uncomfortable. After ordering my food I went to the bathroom for 10 minutes to contemplate my exit strategy. When I got back they had both left. The other guy asked if he could sit with me, so we had dinner and he ate his date's enchiladas. It was actually kinda fun after they left. This turned out way nicer than expected. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Mexican ground beef. It's seasoned. Then, it's not a menu the GD would tell you about. Outright refusing to believe that a guy might not be into her advances. I've seen a woman stare in bewilderment at her boyfriend after he had to repeatedly remove her hand from his crotch because she couldn't comprehend that he didn't feel like getting felt up in a public area. I've also had a woman, middle-aged, throw a tantrum because I wouldn't buy her a drink when I, 22 at the time, was at a bar while I was with my parents and some visiting family members. I worked at a resort hotel as a younger man. Older women would legit molest the staff and think it was hilarious. But if you got upset or didn't gracefully remove your body from her grasp, they would get pissed. Like, how dare you seem ungrateful after I did you the favor of massaging your dick while you tried to pour coffee for the table. WTF is it with people who think they have a right to the bodies of the wait staff? I've seen this way too many times. Against both genders. It's fucked up. I was an underage bouncer. Think very big. Very heavy. Very masculine. Every single goddamn night I got groped. Multiple times. No one ever cared. Gross. Sorry that happened to you. My ex would like freak out and throw things and scream at me. That's not the disturbing thing. She would ducking, forget about it, hit reset, and act like it didn't happen the next day. Over and over. I started filming her episodes to prove to myself I wasn't going crazy. That's called gaslighting. It's a form of emotional abuse and I most often see people who are very insecure deep down use it. It's prominent with borderline personality disorder. I wouldn't always assume it's intentional gaslighting, but for those with BPD there is major memory lapses throughout life, and during a manic psychotic episode. She's out of my life now. It's just fucking crazy to look back on the memories of that stuff. Like the police almost got called a few times. I wish her the best. I offer hugs and coffee. There would be donuts too, but I ate them all. In high school there was a girl who liked me. She ended up carving my name into her foot. Salentitled Momate. Edit. Holy crap, thanks for the gold. You rule and thanks for the cool comments, totally made my day. Shout out to Herm the Verm. I've been telling this story to people for about 10 years now and this is the best comment anyone has ever said. Bravo. Thanks, Herm. Tighty white tie stapled to her wall as conquests. I've seen it. It's up there. Extra points for condoms instead of underwear. Historic documentation. And you never know when you'll be up for an impromptu blind tasting. Good god. No. Unfortunately his gaze has left this part of the thread. In my experience, Constantly talking about how people don't get them. All of their exes are crazy. I only hang out with guys. I'm a girl, and I'll add to this that any girl who has several ex-best friends all related to some sort of drama, or constantly says how she hates drama, is very likely the root cause of that drama. Anyone who says unironically I hate drama is about 40,000% likely to be the cause of said drama. I hate drama, but damn do I ever love thighs. Edition. Yeah man. Especially if it's 7th period. Best way to end the day. She'll joke about having kids before you're even in a serious relationship. I went on a couple dates with this one girl who had mentioned how much she wanted kids. Nothing unusual. Pretty common actually. I'm looking forward to being a dad one day. Then she started sending me those weird things where you put two people's pictures together and see what their kids would look like. One time would be quirky, but she sent me a different one every morning for a week. Broke it off when I realized I hadn't even given her a picture of myself. Edit. The only social media I have is Reddit. But I guess people can get anything on the internet. Oh, that last sentence was like a horror movie lol. I mean, it's not very scary in the age of Facebook and smartphones. You're not very scary either. You're actually wonderful. 3. TLDR. Girl I hadn't talked to in 4 years started messaging my friends asking why I hadn't responded to her good morning text at 10 in the morning. Met this girl in church group in middle school. We got to know each other because of the group, but didn't really become friends or anything. Stopped going when I went to high school and never talked to her for 3 years. She commented on a FB status I had and we got to chatting, and I agreed to hang out the next weekend. I asked if we should invite other people in our old church group since I hadn't seen any of them in a while, and she said no. I thought this was cause she liked me and wanted to hang out with me, so I was flattered. I kept talking to her throughout the day. The next morning I woke up around 10 AM to about 8 missed calls, 2 voice messages, and countless text messages from her. I was pretty creeped out by then. The nail in the coffin was one of the messages I got was from an old friend from the church group asking me if I talked to that girl. I was confused how my friend knew I talked to this girl the day before. Turns out the girl started messaging my friends asking when I wake up in the morning and why I hadn't messaged her back. That went from "oh yeah I'm going on a date" to nope overnight. Edit. Typo. I had this. I was excited to go on a first date with a cute girl. Night before the date everything is good. Come morning I get a text from her saying she's a little nervous because she just got out of a fairly serious relationship. I replied saying yeah that's fair. How recent was it? I'm wondering if this is like last week. Few months ago. Just trying to understand her position. She flips a switch and starts swearing at me and acting like I was accusing her of something. Very odd. She got very defensive. Told her to not worry about the date, maybe not the best timing. She says some snide yeah fine. And that was that. Really weird. Plot twist. The relationship was to be ended the next day after you proved to be stable enough stepping stone. AHH the good ol' overlap. Fuck any girl or guy who does this shit. Fuck them with a rusty fork. I had a boss who acted like I could do no wrong. She praised me and thought I was the best. Then one day like a switch she turned on me. She acted like I was the spawn of Satan. I don't know how I didn't lose my job. Somehow I weaseled my way out of that mess. Then I noticed she does the same thing with all her new men employees. I don't take well to obsessive praise anymore after her. Edit. I just want to thank all the people who replied in the upvotes. You guys are awesome, and why I love Reddit. I actually started studying psychology because of that women. I'm currently studying Eastern philosophy. There was a lot more to her behavior than what I wrote above, which includes a hit ton of gaslighting and cognitive dissonance. Her behavior is textbook borderline personality disorder. My advice to anybody who thinks you may be stuck with a cluster B individual would be to work on yourself. There is nothing you can do for them. Obsessive praise is never a good thing. That's a truly incredible observation. You're amazing for having come up with that. Edit. That wasn't sarcasm. It was meant to be obsessive praise. Come on with it. Don't worry. I laughed. I'm a girl. Just went on this thread to nervously check if I'm creepy. Well, are you? Surprising. But apparently not. A surprise to be sure. But a welcome one. We'll watch her career with great interest. I am the girlfriend. I had a girlfriend who yelled at me for spending $9,000 on my mountain bike instead of on her. I raced professional, and I took her out to dinner at least 3 times a week, and got her gifts all the time. Plus we got to travel the world thanks to sponsors. But the one purchase for myself was to selfish. Update, or MHSP2 with box components. Literally my roommate's girlfriend. He takes her out to dinner 3+ times per week. Travels 50 miles every week back and forth to visit her at school. Buys her jewelry and nice things, etc. Yet the one time he couldn't make it to her school for a visit, she called him to scold him for his selfishness and then broke up with him via text. The saddest part is that he drove all the way to her school that night to talk to her about it, and she fell asleep before he arrived, and so he had to sleep in a parking lot in his car overnight until she woke up. Somehow they're still together. Makes me mad because he deserves so much better. Edit, I'm scared. You should send him this thread, see if it rings any bells for him. And remind him of the sunk costs fallacy. Just because you have invested time and money into someone doesn't mean you should continue. Make your decision based on what you know now. When she puts a phone in your trunk on top of your spare tire to track you via GPS. I don't use my trunk. She knew that. She hooked it up to the 12V charger in my trunk and put a tracking app on the additional line she bought. I only discovered it when I had a blowout and had to use it. When I questioned her about it, she said she had trust issues. But good news. Every time I told her I was somewhere, I was at that place. We broke up after that. Edit, this has blown up more than I expected. Some of you are much more creative than I am. The story had a happy ending for me. It was a toxic relationship. But my next relationship was with the woman who became my wife. We will be celebrating our 8th wedding anniversary in a couple of months. I sometimes wish I had been able to help my ex. She had quite a few good qualities, but the suspicion, insecurity, and attempts to control me were too much for me to deal with at the time. It sucks when you see what someone could become, but you know they probably never will. Next level MacGyver. I'm actually kinda impressed. You should ask him to give you her number, if she doesn't have it already. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.